This is the 0.5 liter Goyojo mini diving tank with a claimed diving time of 5 to 10 minutes. So today I'm gonna try to make this last 10 minutes. First now I'm going to use this as I would normally use a small diving tank if I'm going exploring underwater. And then I'm going to see how long I'm actually able to make it last, because 10 minutes is very long for this small tank. I previously tried the 0.5 liter spare air tank. It is similar to this one, but it is sold as a backup tank to your regular diving tank, so you don't drown if your main tank fails. And the spare air you fill with an adapter from your main diving tank. This one, the Goyojo, is sold as a recreational mini diving tank you can fill with a hand pump. Then you can swim around and have fun and stay down longer than if you were snorkeling and swimming down just by holding your breath, unless you're a high-level freediver. Goyojo asked me to review this package with 2 mini diving tanks and a hand pump. As I already have 10 other mini diving tanks, I do not need this tank, but I told them to send it over and I will test it and give it my honest review. They did not pay me to say anything specific about this tank. So this is my honest opinion. As the tank is 0.5 liters and the air is compressed to 200 bars, you will have about 100 liters of air to breathe. When I tested how long the spare air lasted, I did a constant swim at a pretty high pace and it lasted 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Since I was using a lot of energy swimming, I used a lot more air than normal, so it will probably last a lot longer today than it did with the spare air. The normal air consumption for an experienced scuba diver is about 15 to 18 liters per minute, and a beginner will normally use about 25 to 27 liters per minute, which give you a diving time of about 5.5 to 6.5 minutes for the pros and 3:45 to 4 minutes for the beginners. That is at the surface. At the surface you do not need a tank, you can just snorkel. And if you dive down to 10 meters, you double your air consumption because of the pressure, which gives you half the dive time. So for this test today, I will hang out at about 4 to 5 meters, which is the depth I would use this tank for. Any deeper, you would just use up the air way too fast. At that depth, an experienced diver would use about 22 to 27 liters of air. So about the same as a beginner would use at the surface, about 4 minutes. This one was very uncomfortable, so I changed it to a bigger one, which I had, luckily, because I had to hold this bottle all the time. Not ideal. And I forgot to say, when I say a beginner, I mean someone who just finished their scuba diving course. Because if you go diving and breathe compressed air without scuba diving training or a diving course, it is a bit dangerous. But since you have so short diving time, it is almost no chance of getting decompression sickness. Your lungs may still explode because you did not take the course where you learn that if you breathe in at the bottom and hold your breath on the way to the surface, the air in your lungs expand and your lungs will pop like a balloon that you inflated too much. So it's not too bad. As I said on the first time, I'll use the tank the way I would use it. And I would use it with an underwater scooter, since it's more fun and you save a lot of air since you don't use much energy. So you will be breathing less. Though with an underwater scooter you do move faster, so the chances of lungs exploding is much bigger if you don't pay attention to how deep you are. I worked as a commercial diver for 6 years and I use a lot less air than an experienced diver would usually use. So much less that on a diving trip we did in Thailand, the dive master thought my manometer, where you read how much air you have, was broken, since I had used only 1/3 of the air in the tank when he was empty. Which I thought was kind of sad, because I actually paid to go diving a full tank. And by the way, since I know this will be asked in the comments, the camera I'm using is the Insta360 X4, the underwater scooters are Goyojo Subnados, and the mask is a cheap diving mask from AliExpress, and the weight belt I have on is about 3 kilos. And while we find out how long this tank actually lasts, I'll cheat a little bit and I'll start pumping up the tank from after the dive, so I can save you some time, as that will take a bit more than 5 to 10 minutes. That's 100 pumps and we're at 40 bars. That's 200 pumps. and the pump is boiling hot. We're at 55 bars. Have to go get something to drink, and I'll let it cool down a little bit. I'll melt the O-rings in the pump. I'll be right back. Getting some coffee. Ice coffee. Have to take a break again, not because I'm tired, but because the pump is overheating. With 250 pumps, we are at 60 bars about. I think that's 300 or 350, I'm not sure. Super. So I just told him it's not the ideal way to fill a tank, but at least you get some pump, look better in the pool. Huh? Pump is overheating again, have to take a break. 145 bars, and we have to stop again, it's overheating. So in the end now, it's really hard to pump because in the beginning, all the air you compress goes into the tank. The more pressure it gets in the tank, the more you have to compress the air you're pumping to get into the little tank. I pumped out, nothing in yet, now it starts going in. Screws on the pump is coming loose. We are at 155 bars, overheating again. Another break, cool down the pump, gonna go again. Bra? Helt ned. Ja? Da tar du hele vektgangen. Jeg må helt opp, så må helt ned. Jeg tror det var en 800 pump. 800? Ja, mellom 600 og 800 plass. He's 70 kilos and he had to use all his weight, and even then it didn't compress all the way. So like if you were 50 kilos or a girl, then maybe you wouldn't be able to pump this up to 200 bars. But now it's at 200 bars and we can dive again. But the way I planned to for over 10 minutes with this tank is not possible after pumping this because you're extremely tired. So back tomorrow to do another try. In the meantime, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna fill the other tank the right way. It's a new day, I'm back at the pool, fill the tank and change to Speedos to have less resistance in the water. No underwater scooter today. Now I'm going to try to make this last as long as possible, and to do that I will first go over to the other pool, do breathing exercises for about 20 minutes like I would do if I'm to hold my breath, and then I'm going to completely relax, do a breathe up of about 2 minutes at this pool, and then I'm going to fill my lungs at the surface, jump down to the bottom, and I'm going to pack on some more air, and then I'm going to hold the breath for a while, and then I'm going to breathe a little bit and then hold a little bit and then breathe extremely slowly after that, and see how long can I actually stay down with the assistance of this tank. Can repeat 10 minutes. To prepare, I actually did a full breath hold training session, well, a short one. I did 2 minutes of breathing, then I did a 3.5 minutes breath hold, then I did 2 minutes of breathing again before I did a 5 minutes breath hold, then I did 10 rounds of 2-minute breath holds with just 1 breath in between each breath hold. After that, I went over to this pool, and I did 2 minutes of breathing again, and then I jumped into the water. The breathing technique I was using was 4 seconds of breathing in and then 8 seconds of breathing out. I am back up. I actually did manage to make this last 10 minutes while doing acrobatics and trying to do backflips and those kind of things. And that was at 5 meters. So I believe at the surface, laying still, maybe I might be able to make it last, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. Let me know in the comments if you want me to try to do that. And I'm gonna go home and have dinner, because before this I did not eat anything to use as little oxygen as possible. And now it's 3 o'clock, so I'm hungry.